Hey, how's it all going today? And today I'm back with another movie review. And this is probably one of my favorite and best movies I've ever seen. And it's my sort of movie too, my type. It's basically about two estranged brothers that inherit their grandparents' property or something like that. And like obviously in the middle of nowhere, blah blah, that sort of typical story. I mean, it wouldn't be horror if it wasn't to do with that. And there was I noticed one of the actors and I recognized it. Obviously, the start of it is a good movie, like, and some creature is stalking him or whatnot. But I'll get to that in a minute. And when I saw one of the brothers that came out, because he's basically the first person is shown after the first part of the movie when they come out of his truck, and then it showed one of my favorite actors that acted in Home and Away. Well, not favorite, one of the actors acted in Home and Away, and it isn't Heath Braxton, aka Dan Ewing or something like that. Ewing. I don't know how you pronounce that name, but yeah, he was one of my favorite actors in this movie. He was more daring, he's more courageous towards it, just typical sort of male acting at the end. But yeah, his attitude as well was kind of strong and on point. And yeah, I had to watch it. When I recognized that, I'm sure I recognized him from somewhere. And is he from Home and Away? I guess so. I can't really pronounce his second name. If anyone knows Australian type surnames like that, can you please put in the comments below because it's hard for me to pronounce that. So yeah, it's one of those typical type of movies, and the creatures chase them at the start. I mean, this ain't a spoiler. You can see a creature at the start of the movie. I think a guy had a gun and he wanted a map of somebody and shot him for the map. So it's kind of like that. But whenever I give away spoilers or I say there's a spoiler coming up, you can either pause the video and watch the movie before watching my video, or you could, watch my video, watch the movie yourself so you give your opinion on it. Just whichever one you feel comfortable with, whichever one is better and easier for you. And yeah, it's one of those movies where obviously they say that they invite friends around to the property and they go missing and blah blah. It wasn't exactly like that. It was more like the creature wanted like a few females, I don't know, to possess them and stuff like that. And obviously, right, there was three, four females that came, and then I went through and got possessed stuff like that. It's not how I thought it was going to go. It's a good movie. Storyline was good. Quality was good. The actors are good too. I thought it's a great movie. One of my favorite movies so far. It's my type of movie, even though it's a typical type of horror. So they go missing, and then they get two of them get possessed. I can't remember their names. I think VJ was one of the brothers' names. I can't really remember. I know the other one's name. I can't honestly remember. And I seen it last night. Was it yesterday? Yesterday? Yesterday I've seen it. So I honestly can't remember the characters' names. But it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. Good storyline to it, especially towards the end where they found that the dad was the one that actually was setting them up. So it's kind of like a good end. I mean, the dad already looked dodgy. He already looked evil, like he had a plan in him already. And then yeah, so it was quite a good movie. You would think like it's one of those movies where one person gets killed. It wasn't like that. It's just how I thought it was going to be. But I thought they could have done a bit more time. They could have had a tiny bit more action, which is where my rating. I've had one number in my head and I'm sticking to that number because I feel like it is a great movie, but they needed just a little tiny bit more action. Like probably it would have been good if they picked each person off one by one. You know that's not the best thing to say, but it'd have been better if it was those type of movies that each person got picked off and you know, everybody probably dies, but it was quite fitting where at the end, majority of the characters lived, which is something you never see. You always see how one person surviving or everyone dies at the end and it's just the villains winning. It wasn't like that. I don't want to go too, with this movie because there wasn't much there was action, but it wasn't much happening in terms of action, which it should have been actually, to be honest. And this, I'm going to call him like Heath, Heath in this movie, he brags obviously. And then he's the one that actually stopped everything. He's the one that he would had to go into like a cave, and that where there was a rock in a cave, and that's some sort of an underground cave or something like that. And where a few of his friends went, there was like a ritual to his, I think ex Anya or something like that. Anya, I can't remember her name, something like that. I don't know how I remember her name. So he had to save her because she was the last person for the so-called ritual that the creature needed to possess three females. So it was kind of, at the end, he eventually, saved his brother and his ex's life and whatnot. And then at the end, like after the creature got destroyed, I think he was friends with a tribe that knew about it. And I'm telling you now, the creature's known as, they call this creature Bunyip. That is, if I'm not mistaken, it's actually an urban legend. I can't quite remember what it's about exactly, the Bunyip, but I didn't know at first. And when the child said, "Okay, you please see me," and then a guy managed to stop the ritual with help from the Heath's character. So yeah, he was at the end with the dad, um, trying to his dad attacked him. There was basically a fight scene, and at the end and towards the end, the whole entire cave exploded and came straight down. I thought it was gonna be one of those type of endings where he said, "Oh, did you miss me? You pleased to see me?" And everyone greeted him. It turns out he died in that movie. That was unexpected. That was slightly different compared to how other movies work, where the person's gonna die anyway because it gets straight to the end. It's a shame if they would have included him. That would have been a great ending, like quite wonderful ending, but they didn't do it like this. Quite sad. And I was at the end. I think it showed the guy selling, his brother selling the property in the end with his other friends that survived. They would have. This is where the rating would have upped a little bit if they added in the action. And yeah, they spoke to a real estate type of dude in a caravan or something like that. And Heath's character knew that he was up to something. Anyway, you gotta watch a movie to know what I'm talking about anyway. This is why I'm gonna give this movie an 8 out of 10. I can't think it could be any lower than that. It's a great movie. It's a good quality movie, but there needed to be more. It has potential to be more. I'm only giving this an 8 because the storyline was good, the character's good. I think the plot was good too. The action, they needed to include more. And usually movies like this I would have given this a 6 or 7, but because of the characters and how the quality of the movie was, and because of the plot and everything else was good. Apart from needed to be a tiny bit more action included. I mean, I watch these movies on iPad and 6movies.net, so maybe it's different compared to watching it on an iPad screen than to watch it on a TV screen. But I've watched horror movies before, like scary ones, and it's still the same outcome to me, basically because I'm just sensitive. So, yeah, it's a shame. And the character should have came back in it. That would have been a 10 out of 10 if they included a bit more action. They would have shown action into it. And that done things a tiny bit more. I just mean a bit more action. Then yeah, it would have been great. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment below, share with everyone you know, subscribe and hit the bell notification bell. So I'll see you in my next video.